it's for us.
Same.
No, exit, not minimize.
Yeah, we
We're
actually,
picking up, yeah, very top,
This
just
thing,
our
our office,
couple
about
of houses
everybody,
are-
like, nice, urban out there. You know,
27 and 44, those last couple of houses I heard up in there.
oh.
He had a really nice
Other-
20 years ago, I think it came, that whole thing go, when they planned on planning it, 10 years. That's everything.
All right, 6:10, we'll begin the Tuesday, February 17th city council meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for joining us for the Tuesday, February 17th, 2026 city council meeting. We will begin with approving or amending the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda any council members or staff would like to suggest?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll second.
Thank you, Leroy. So I've got a motion by Markert, second by Schomer to approve the agenda as written. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. No sheriff's deputy here tonight, so we'll move into consent agenda. Those items on the council agenda which are considered routine or non-controversial are included as part of the consent agenda. Unless a council member specifically requested an item on the consent agenda be removed and considered separately, items on the consent agenda are considered under one motion, a second, and a vote. Any item removed from the consent agenda shall be placed at the end of general business. Tonight, consent agenda consists of 3.1, the minutes from the February 2nd, 2026 city council meeting. 3.2, approve the final payment for the 2025 microsurfacing project. 3.3, approve check number 012701 that was pulled from the agenda on 5/19/2025. And 3.4, approve payment of claims and transfer requests as presented. Is there any items from the consent agenda that council would like to remove and consider separately? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you, Jay. Motion by Zonto, second by Satterbach. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Open forum. The public forum is intended to afford the public an opportunity to address concerns to the council. The public forum will be no longer than 30 minutes in length, and each presenter will have no more than 5 minutes to speak. Topics of discussion are restricted to local governmental topics rather than private or political agendas. The council may discuss but will not take formal action on public forum presentations. I've got nobody signed up for public forum tonight, but I will give the people in the room one more chance if you wish to speak in open forum tonight. I do ask that you step to the podium, please. Do me a favor, turn that microphone on by holding that rectangle button down until the green light pops up. Oh, there you go. And then please state your name and address before addressing.
Thank you, Mayor Costick. My name is Matt Bjork. I live at 21871 Century Court, also known as the deep south of Credit River. I want to say, take a few minutes here just to say thank you to you and the council members for both having the time with the Met Council representatives and for allowing the public to be part of that work session. A lot of good data was presented. I think, like many of you, many probably of our constituents that are in the room here together, I moved here to continue a rural lifestyle that I was used to growing up. I know that we have 2 designations both within the city, and the team or the council here is focused on growth plans for both areas. Overall, a few things that I found interesting and that I still would have concerns and would maybe ask the council to take a deeper look at as you get any more information from the Met Council, particularly the growth rates of the population projection versus the housing growth rate. I just running quick math, we were looking at 22% increase in housing development and then 7% increase in population. So that would tell me that we're overdeveloping just based on that presentation. The other one that I appreciated many of the questions from the council members here around how do we control the growth and taking an opportunity to really shape our own future. On the north, I know that there are many challenges and the team is trying to get after that. one thing that concerns me within the southern 2/3 that are designated as rural residential for Credit River within the comprehensive plan, we continue to build developments that are the minimum or the maximum units per acre or 2.5 acres per unit versus the comprehensive plan would say where possible, and I would like the team to think about that, it should be 1 unit per 10 acres to help us stay rural on the southern part of Credit River. Many of the developments are continuing to come in, and 2.5 acres is better than three houses per 1 unit. But if we peanut butter spread the growth across all 2.5 acres, we'll continue to lose the rural community that Credit River and its citizens want to have. So as you continue to build the plan, refine the plan, and help us build Credit River out the way that we want to, I would ask to really focus on the, where possible, 1 unit per 10 acres in the rural residential as we continue to grow, and focus the growth in the areas to the north that are designated as suburban edge. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. All right, anybody else for open forum tonight? Seeing none, we will close open forum and we'll move into general business. General business 7.1, consider restarting the city's newsletter. This one was submitted by Councilmember Markert, so I'm going to pass the microphone over to Markert for introduction.
Yeah, we had a real good, like 2 quarters of newsletters that I think our residents enjoyed. I think one of them was electronic and one of them was paper. And then we had a change out of personnel, and that got dropped probably because of other things going on. So I'd like to have it reestablished where we have a quarterly newsletter. I think last time we agreed to have 2 electronic, 2 paper. I'm okay with continuing that. And I'm wondering if we can start doing that.
Okay. Did you have something to chime in on that, Steve?
I think they were going, from what I saw, it was gonna be one paper and 3 electronic.
Okay,
Mhm.
story. Yep.
And then I
Good.
did
I'm good with
I put the quote for the cost of mailing that. We probably want to get an updated quote,
Mhm,
just because that one's older.
mhm. Do we have the capability? I know the former city clerk knew how to do it on her own. Would we have to outsource that? Or could we do it in-house still?
The staff here that can help.
Great. Okay, good. And then I can't remember, how did we submit articles for potential, or did the staff do that?
Staff was doing all of the articles.
Okay, can we recommend as a council, if a council member has something that they want in there, we can recommend to you? Is that correct?
That's certainly up to council.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be, I mean, if it's fine, I think it would be nice to run it across council to make sure that, you know,
Okay.
it's alignment with everybody.
Okay, I have 5 that I'd like the council to consider.
I'm surprised it's only 5, Bill.
Well, 2 of them were on the slate to get on the summer newsletter, the vision statement article that I had drafted and the Government Center Citizen Advisory Committee article that Tom Bryant had drafted. Those were already submitted. They have to have a little update now because the dates have changed a little bit. So, but those are the 2 I would like, if Sue could do an article on the 2026 budget and levy. Maybe say what the levy went up, how much it is, what's maybe the breakout of the levy, and any other interesting things you want to add. I'd like the residents to know about our city building permit activity, and that's a report, Steve, that you sent out, I think, to all of us, and just talk about what we've done the last 3 years. We have 3 years of actual numbers, and so our residents know how we've grown and the value that the new houses have added. We have that information. And then the last one, a possible article, and this I got from a resident this weekend, on ordinances and laws related to motor vehicle use. So it was in the Prior Lake.
Oh, would
About
that be like,
scooters, e-bikes,
oh, yeah,
e-motos.
so like the.
Know the laws.
Covered under our
Yeah,
ordinance on.
yeah.
What
Do we
call
have
it?
an ordinance?
We
that
do.
Talk about those.
We
Okay.
actually, we require a permit.
I don't know if we have an issue like
Yeah.
maybe Prior Lake has. They probably have a worse issue than we do. We're more rural and they're more, they're in the city and it's makes it a little more dangerous, but I don't know. That
Well,
was something, another.
So I think what happened in Prior Lake was they originally had an ordinance and then they took the regulations off and then the usage exploded.
Mhm.
And so, you know, the last time I've talked to people over there, the council over there, they were looking at putting that back in act to try to slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I could send Steve I have a printout of what the Prior Lake did. It's just a
Mhm.
little table or something.
Yeah.
And it-
Oh, that one came out this last summer. I think a lot of communities last summer were using that one about the
Oh, really?
e-bikes.
Okay.
Right? So that's
Yeah.
Lakeville posted stuff like that, Shakopee posted stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that's governed by state law.
Right.
Yeah, where people need to have licenses and be over 18 to ride them.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be it. And we could add another one about, we just had this workshop with the Met Council and we
Mhm.
would say that we started the discussions with them. But those would be my suggestions for the next one.
So, I like this idea, Bill. I think it's a good idea. And I think it was a good communication tool. Anything that we have for communication tools, good. The question I'm going to ask here is, you know, we've got some communication tools right now that we're not fully utilizing. And are we going to add something in without getting, you know, we have the ability to do email blasts. We have the ability for social and other things. Is this going, you know, should we run with those ones a little bit before we get this in? And my concern is staff resource time. Do we have the staff resource time to, you know, pull these things together, develop the content and get it out there? That's going to be my question to Steve and you and your staff, because you'll be the ones that have to develop this.
It'll help if there's a permit tech. That will, I mean, in all seriousness, like, yeah, if that position will help, for sure. I mean, we're all kind of doing a lot of some of that position as a group, as a whole.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think we can, get that together. You know, we had started talking about that. We have election stuff we want to start getting out. There's the park information we want to start getting out. We had talked about that. So yes, there's tools we want to start using more, and focusing on, and yes, resource and time is an issue, so.
Mhm. Okay, any other thoughts or questions?
I'd like to make a motion to start producing it for the spring one.
Can I ask one question before?
Yeah.
I know our last clerk had a unique interest in this. Do we have that same interest in staff? Or is this a topic that's going to just get to when we get to? I don't know how to say it differently.
Like, that's what, like the resource of it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that
Well, she was
Amy
very
really
good.
wanted this, right? And she pushed for it. I think it's an awesome idea. I think it's
Mhm.
great. The more we can get out there. I just want to make sure that we have that same interest.
It's going to be another to-do item, and if we're gonna be honest, it's not this isn't something we wanted to like go and get, but if it's something that council wants us to do, it will get done. So, and we will do it positively and with joy, so, and it will get done well, so.
So I was the one really pushing to not do paper, because I thought
Mhm.
anyone under 40 is probably just throwing it away. Maybe what we do instead of a regular newsletter is, do we get a push for people to sign up for the any kind of
Mhm. The
pushes
email
from the
list.
email,
Mhm.
and then we can do targeted emails for specific topics. To your point of those 5 topics, we could, once we have more individuals come in, be able to push those topics out. So then it becomes less of a task of formatting and all of that and getting that information out when it's
I think we still have close to 1,600 subscribers for
Yeah, I
for
think,
the,
trying to think the last time I saw those
yeah,
metrics.
it's pretty.
And are we getting, well, we bounce backs, we don't know if they've left the community.
It's
How did
still
they-
pretty, it's still pretty good, cause I use that same, when I do email blasts for everything else, I still use that same one, and I don't get a lot of.
Do you know
a
how
lot
many
of
dupes
returns.
are duplicate addresses, like spouses? You know, because 1,600 is great because we only have 2,000 houses in the city, so that's a good. But if it's really 800, because husband and wife have.
I don't know if I don't have that information. That was what was just in the system when I got here, so.
Could I ask, what are the other tools that we're not using as to their fullest extent? I mean, what are the other things that we should think about trying to use more or utilize? That's what I heard.
Yeah, so, our social platform, our website, our email list, right? I mean, you think of our email list, basically just sends out the agendas right now.
Right.
We have, Steve has done some social posts. But not a ton, when it's been needed. The hard part about that is then when it's needed, because the way the algorithms work, if you don't have some regular followers and regular, views, it takes a bit for it to catch up.
Let's see.
So, some of those things are, some of the things that we currently have that are underutilized. And then, of course, website, right? We've got a website that, doesn't get a lot of utilization where there's, the homepage, I think, is still announcing Steve as our new administrator.
So
I guess you're technically still new.
Who is taking care of that part of it? I mean, or should we think about trying to utilize those things first, fill that out? And then.
To be honest, I think it's the same resource. It's now just, we're talking about the
Mhm.
delivery, the mode of it. It's. A lot of like the website it's just a WYSIWYG. It's not real challenging.
Well, I like that. Well, I like the newsletter and that we had, the couple issues that we had. I'm thinking more that, if we can get something developed where everybody's really going to it. Using stuff that we have. And develop people and then also figure out, what I'm also hearing is that. We don't seem to have. The manpower to do it. Completely. But it would be done because if we asked for it, but that's to me that I think that we need to figure out how to better utilize these other things first.
And we could also do like a twice a year newsletter too, and work on some of the other.
And I'd like to see the other things fully used. And I do like the idea of, maybe we do 1 or 2 email newsletters. I mean, obviously it does cost some money to mail this thing.
One thing, just to back up and answer some of your questions around the metrics on the email list, there's, in January, there was 2,135 subscribers, which was down -10. So 10 people dropped off the list. December, it was up 16. So 16 new ones came in December, 10 dropped off in January. In January alone, there was 8,000 recipients of our email list. So we sent out multiples, right, for our council meetings and for planning commissions. So throughout that, 8,000 people viewed those 5 bulletins that were sent in January.
I'm good using email addresses, using the Facebook sites, using the website. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, do we have an opportunity for getting a word out for a student that's in communication, an opportunity to do some kind of, I mean, we can feed topics and we can look at it, but I think the challenge would be is just creating the content. So do we have an opportunity to reach out to the community and ask for individuals that are maybe interested in an internship for communication or something of that nature?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that helps us solve some of the resource problem and bring somebody in that has an interest, a vested interest in something like that. And they gain some skills, we gain some resources, and I think we both benefit.
I mean, I know it still does have to be managed, but maybe it's less if it you know, it would be very, very, very minimal hours.
Mhm.
But an opportunity to put something on a resume and still have some hopefully Credit River resident that could have that experience.
As long as you would like me to withdraw my motion. And I make a new motion then we're gonna start submitting emails or postings on social media or our website for topics such as the ones I mentioned. We start doing that in this quarter. Is that a good motion? Probably not. It's a question.
It's a little bit more of a question.
Right.
When you start with can we, but yeah,
Right.
What if we put it together, you know, we're doing these workshops. Maybe we could actually have a workshop on this and kind of figure out
plan.
a strategy for it and what should go where and how often and then, and also I think really maybe put together some sort of a request for an internship, or something like that. I think that's a really good idea.
I mean, I think to get to that point, we'd need to draft a position,
Right.
right? You know,
But a workshop could put all of that stuff together where we have an actionable take to the meeting.
when I think that to that point too, that, Jay, to your point, we could ask staff to draft some
Mhm.
proposed actions to get there, some
Sure.
a proposed plan to,
Right.
works within staff or works in what other resources would they need to get to this point,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think the last thing we want to do is, burden staff with something, extra. If it really becomes something that they feel they need extra resources, and here's the why for that piece.
But also we could probably figure it out, and I think we could probably get it. My thoughts on it are if we do a sooner than later workshop. Is that we could actually put together an action plan out of it. To get this engaged a lot faster than just saying, hey, let's go ahead and do it.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I think, Bill, to your point, I mean, I'd be fine with us getting some suggestions for some topics so that staff has something to work with our tools that we have today, right? And I don't know that we need council direction as a part of a motion to get to that point, because I think there's a desire from staff
I like
to get
everything
there.
you
It's
said.
just, a lot of it is developing content is probably, that's 70% of the challenge, right? Then it's the layout and adding some graphic to it to get some attention, and pieces like that. But then also, I think they also need some additional training. I know I've talked to Steve about using the email bulletin list, that there's some opportunities for them to learn how to use that in a more friendly fashion. So, so I think we can get there, and then I think we can build that up. And again, I like the idea of working through this of, let's figure out what we need to do to get to that
Let's
point.
figure out what we're gonna ask.
Because I think we're all in agreement, Bill, that we all like to see this come to fruition again. But we just have to make sure that we're conscious of what we ask staff for.
So the ask is staff put together, are you gonna do this? Come back.
I think, and we have
And I think we can definitely discuss those items.
I don't even know if we need a workshop. I'm happy to lend a
Right.
hand by drafting something up for next meeting and
Mhm.
get it to you to say, here's a
Plan.
proposed intern. Or plan.
Job description of sorts.
Yeah, I
and,
mean,
with
it should be pretty straightforward to
a
do.
plan to advertise, to try to find somebody, stuff like that. I think we can, yeah, it's not hard to do, right? We just need to make sure we detail those pieces out.
Yep.
Yeah. Are we good with doing that plan then, or going forward to try to pull together a plan for that?
So is Steve doing it or is Abe doing it?
All assist
Yes.
if you want.
If Steve wants to ask Abe for some assistance, sounds like he's willing to help.
Okay.
Right?
All right, sounds good. Thank you. 7.2, consider use of City Hall building to a community group. Steve.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. I was approached by the Federal River Antique Chocolate Club to use this building the first Wednesday of the month, starting in April, for approximately 90 minutes for about 20 people. I was told they were using the building about 15 years ago. And then they they found somewhere else to use. My concerns that I have is, you know, we don't have someone to lock the door. Our security system, we don't have a way to like set it to lock after they're done, so we'd either have to give out codes or have someone, you know, come back and set the codes. Our septic system again is small, so if someone left the water running or, you know, the toilet kept running overnight, you know, that could flood. So we'd either have to come check or not worry about that, so. And we don't have, I couldn't find a policy on whether or not we allowed that, and so I'm coming to ask whether you want to allow that or not allow that in general. So if it wasn't this group, it would be another group. Or if we want to set a policy for that, if you want me to create a policy, bring back a policy. What's the will of the council?
Mr. Mayor. Just to clarify, and I believe this was the last question Steve had asked in the packet about would this be available to others? I think the appropriate way forward, if the city wants to do this, is to make space available to community groups and then allow people to apply to use the space rather than we give City Hall to a specific group or a specific
You
period.
can't discriminate to one group.
Right.
Not in favor of it. For the reasons you mentioned, so.
Yeah, I agree. I think the properties of the facility, security, the, you know,
There's open desks, there's.
right.
We don't have.
The
access
security of
to them.
that, security of the building. Yeah, all those things, I agree. I think, and then again, to that point, if we have a policy that allows it, then it's gonna be a consistent ongoing thing. And we haven't in the past, we've always turned people down in the past. So this isn't, it's not like we're changing anything. We've just, you know, always been a,
The schools rent out facilities, they have a policy with, they have to pay for it, but. Huh?
Janitor.
yeah, they're set up for that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So-
Vote on that, or you can just say no.
It can fail for lack of emotion too.
I'll make a motion that we don't entertain using our city hall for community group.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Markert, second by Seiderbach. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Move into 7.3, recommendation to appoint applicants to the planning commission. Administrator Jelinski.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So the application deadline was February 6th. We received 8 applications. All 3 of the incumbents did apply. Of the 5 that were not the incumbents, the committee did interview 3, or brought in 3, Mayor Kostick, Councilmember Markert, and then planning commissioners Casey and Tandy were, the committee met and interviewed 3 of the applicants. After the interviews, the committee would like to recommend to the council to reappoint Amy Olson, David Martell, and Peter Thebrath back to the planning commission.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Council members, any comments or questions? Otherwise, I'm open to a motion.
I'll make that motion to approve those 3.
Second.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you, Jay. Motion by Zanto, second by Seiderbach to approve the recommendation of appointing the 3 incumbents back to the planning commission. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Moving into 7.4, discussion of providing meals for election judges. This must be Clerk Urek.
Also, I survey the cities in Scott County that provide meals for election judges on election day. And of the 6 that I surveyed, 1 did not respond to me. So out of the 5, 4 of them provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and some snacks. And there was one that provided just lunch. So I'm looking for a discussion from you guys to see if we could consider having food offered to the election judges. This is not a budgeted item that has been in our budget in the past, so it would adjust our budget.
But we have done it in the past.
Yes.
Oh, to my
Yeah.
knowledge, I thought it wasn't. Okay,
No.
sorry, then that's my,
No, that's fine. You weren't here.
okay.
But yeah, from every time of election, I remember we've always done that.
At one time, we had a hard time getting election judges, so we gave them a little pay raise and,
Mhm.
I mean, I would
did the meals.
point
so-
out that there's no place nearby. and
Right.
There's really no
Yeah.
kitchen here,
Right.
so,
And they can't leave.
yeah,
Mhm.
so we really should.
So what did we do this last time?
It was school
Oh,
elections, it
okay.
wasn't ours.
Yeah.
And one school did and the other school didn't. So
Oh,
they
you
did,
shared?
well, they did provide, I think there was an election judge that paid for that out of her own to make sure that it was equal.
Yeah.
So they bought the vote.
So, yeah, I mean, I think in the past, we've done that before. I think that's one thing that we should probably consider going forward in our budget when we have elections, is to make sure we have that budgeted amount for the food piece of it.
But we haven't, so is it in our ordinances that we pay for meals? Because it's not in the state statutes that we have to pay for meals, it's just the hourly rate that we approve. So I didn't know we bought lunches for people.
Yeah.
And Minneapolis doesn't. I didn't look at our cities because I didn't have time, but I'm not in favor of using taxpayer money to pay for other people's meals. If we want to, as a city council, contribute our money to pay for their meals, I'm fine with that, but they're getting paid. That we have to give them, we have to give them, if there's certain hours, we have to give them a break. And yes, you're right, you have to go to Quick Trip or whatever, you gotta go to Lakeville to get some food, or you can bring it in. And there's cities that also do potluck and all that stuff, where even the election judges bring in the potluck foods. So, I'm not comfortable using taxpayer money to pay for people's meals during elections.
How much are we talking about? Any idea?
Two
What's it been in the
sites.
past?
Yeah, there's 2 sites, and then there's 2 elections this year, the primary and the general. So we're looking at 2 days. I know that, the city of Prayer Lake asks, a company to bring in box lunches, and the box lunches were pretty much $15 a person. And they had it catered in for lunch and for dinner. And then breakfast were. I'm not quite sure, but I'm thinking you probably have at least 8.
Breakfast and dinner?
Yeah, some of these just provided like donuts and coffee and
Yeah.
water for lunch, for breakfast,
Okay.
so
And that's just for election day?
just for election day,
So-
primary and general.
Yeah, what, less than,
If we round the election judges to 10 at each place, just to make it easy math, if we do the $15, that's $300 per lunch, $300 per dinner
You're probably looking about 600,
for the day.
at each location?
No,
No, total,
Total.
total,
Oh,
And
okay.
per election.
yeah.
I don't-
Mhm.
Then we have early
I
voting.
don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah, we would provide meals for early voting.
Yeah.
Right, they can't.
Mhm.
So the election judges we have come at 6 AM in the morning whenever we open up polls, and they're here until 8 at night, because I thought we had shifts.
We prefer that they work all day, but yes, we do provide, we do offer shifts.
Like, we give them an hour break, don't we? We don't like.
No.
I
I remember.
In my
doing that.
previous location, I mean, people can come and go at the back and, or, to go and take in the back room. We did provide a half an hour for everybody to take a lunch and a half an hour for everybody to take a dinner time. But no, they didn't leave.
I would like to. 2 elections is $1,400 for the year,
Max.
max.
If we do have a presidential,
Primary.
there's three elections in that year. So just to make sure that we are, no, not this year. This year's not a presidential, but the years that there's a presidential, there's 3 elections.
Well, I think we should do that. And I think we ought to just make sure that we make a note to include budgeting it in our budget.
If it wasn't already, like Sue said, it might have been in the supply budget and it just wasn't.
Supply, but
Already.
Mhm,
it
Okay.
probably was, but we should probably put a separate line.
mhm.
What city didn't, pay for them, do you remember?
Shakopee just provided lunch and that was it. And I didn't hear back from Savage. So. But the other 4 provided.
Spring Lake Township did?
I didn't
thought-
contact Spring Lake Township. I just contacted the cities, yeah.
Hey, Barbie.
Yeah, so we think it's in the supply already?
If you guys did it before, that's
Yeah.
probably where it would have been coded. I mean, I didn't go back and look at them. There wasn't a specific line item going, but I know that in the 5 cities I worked in, and I was the city clerk doing elections, I know that that's where I always put it. So it probably was.
I
Cause
mean,
you swear them in when you get here, they typically don't leave.
Yeah.
Once they get sworn in until they're done and they leave, then they don't come back. So they don't leave and come back again.
I think the challenge we have to think about is gluten-free, dairy-free, not allergy. I mean, you start going down this path and we gotta be very clear with what's our budget and what are we giving? And so people understand that it might be a sub sandwich that's just there and it is what it is. And we can keep it super.
Well,
I would appreciate it to have it, as long as we're not having
Could
to
we
cater to
Well,
everybody.
I think-
If I could ask, could we just basically make a motion that essentially says that we will use a single source catering without
well, I think,
many options?
or the other option is just to set a dollar amount as the budget number and let staff work within that range to figure it out.
Yeah,
That's fine.
but then I'd also recommend is we just kind of got rid of the newsletter because of staff time, and now I don't want to have,
Right.
now we're caterers too, right? So this is what we're providing. If you don't like that, that's it, right?
I
It
think
could
if
be
people
simple.
know ahead of time, what is
Yeah.
gonna be provided, and if they have dietary restrictions, I think most people are accepting of that and bring their own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, I'd be okay with
Do
a
we need-
smaller budget. I don't know if we need to go crazy.
Do we need to specify then, or?
I think it would be appropriate to just give a budget, yeah. That would be
So
the,
then, well, the thing about it is then you say, well, spend up to, and then that's the limit.
Mhm.
Is everybody happy at 7, 6 per election?
so total of
Total.
no more than, not to exceed 1,500? Or 1,400?
For both elections?
Yeah.
At both locations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
total budget for election food.
Is that a number everybody else is happy with?
How many people are we thinking?
Yeah, we need to know how many people.
Yeah,
Just make it $10 per person. Right? So how many, she could figure out how
So-
many people we had last.
And I guess that's
Right?
the other opportunity then, I guess if you want, we could have staff go back and redetermine this plan then and put some more work
think
into
that'd
that
be
part of it so that you can have a request for a budget.
sure
Is that
can,
right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
perfect.
absolutely.
So then basically we
Mhm.
make no motion here and
Yep.
wait till we get that back.
I'll have that ready next agenda.
Perfect. Thank you, Linda.
Yes.
All right, 7.5, City Council shared commitments of elected officials, Administrator Jelinski.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So on Wednesday night, last week, we had our second of 2 city governance workshops where the city council developed this shared commitments of elected officials that's in the packet. And this would be an addendum to the bylaws that you all have worked on together. This will be reviewed annually. And then can be adjusted and then, this then, if it's broken, will be, will be, met one-on-one in private, to be discussed. One other thing is that, I think Chad had said, we're going to let bygones be bygones. We're gonna move forward. It's kind of clean, fresh start. We're gonna just kind of move forward, and so I thought the workshop was good. Hopefully the council felt the same, and yeah, so I think the action is to adopt these shared commitments.
All right, thank you, Steve. Yeah, I think that we had two good workshops with the facilitator and you know, worked on some common ground and some pieces that we all commit to working at going forward, being better council and better council members. Yeah, I think it was the end result was good, and look forward to seeing if there's any other comments or anything, or ready to adopt.
I would like to add one thing in there. We talked about putting on the website under the city council as well, so making sure that that's put there.
Mhm.
And do we have to put them in the bylaws, or will we do
Just
that
to
next
get
year?
them in there.
Or, I mean, I think we could do that and the next time we modify the
Yeah.
bylaws, but I think for now it's a separate document as a, you know,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a cost. Hold on.
no, I think it's just more that,
That's
you know,
fine.
to adopt the bylaws is a whole different process. And so I think at this time, we just want to adopt and have it as a separate document. And if we choose in a future time to put it at, yeah, that was the goal, just like the bylaws would be to visit it at least once a year, unless we decide that there needs some modification at other times.
I'll make a motion to adopt the shared commitment of elected officials.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Can we make sure we get that on the website? Yeah, I think it's super important that
Mhm.
the community sees that.
I think
Okay.
Steve wrote that note down
All right.
a couple times already.
All right, I just want to make sure, but I think, perfect, thank you.
All right, you're still second?
I'll second.
Perfect. Motion by Margaret, second by Schomer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Moving right along. Last item in general business, 7.6, consider permit tech position, Administrator Jelinski.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So, this was on the agenda one other time, and we pulled that and brought it back now. So we're bringing this back. We did put this in the budget for 2026. And we kind of talked about bringing a position back in the planning department, not where a planner was before, something a little more entry level, more customer service related, more of a, we'll call it a butt in the seat for someone to for the public to be able to answer questions, answer phones, get those low level permit questions answered right away. Some of the, we'll call them complaints that we've been hearing is, you know, just the time it takes to return phone calls or answer questions, answer emails. The time it takes from tracking a permit from application to completion. The escrows, following escrows. The escrow refunds are taking a while, only because, again, the tracking of the permits. We don't have that point person to, you know, I think we talked about that at the last council meeting or the council meeting before. And so it's kind of causing this bottleneck that we have, and so we're all kind of feeling it as a staff. And so I think Councilmember Market asked about contracting that, and I did talk with a couple companies a month or two ago, and they don't do exactly what we are looking for. They do building official work, like Metro West does, or they do what MSA does, but they don't do like code enforcement, or they don't sit in the seat and answer a phone. They said temp agency is more what you're looking for that. Concern I would have with that is kind of revolving staff with someone like that, and with our software, it's pretty difficult to try and retrain somebody if we have a temp agency sending somebody different constantly. Our software is pretty complicated to try and retrain someone a lot. So for me, I wouldn't be in favor of that. We did take the salary range. There was the PDF that's in there. I use Councilmember Zanto's sheet that you had sent, larger cities, medium cities, smaller cities from salary, wages. And the amount that we had budgeted was right in line with the average hourly rate. So we had budgeted 65, which is 31.25, and the average hourly rate came out to 31.70. So we're pretty darn close. And then included a job description that we come up with working off of the planner job description, and a couple of other city job descriptions that we pulled off of the league websites and city websites. And so that's kind of where we're at with that, and we'll take some questions. We did track phone calls, from August 1st through, this last month. I think we took 500 about 400 500 phone calls. About 100 of them were duplicate phone calls, same person calling back, and about 65% of them were permit calls or for MSA. So, I think the need is there for someone to be answering phone calls.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Council questions or comments for Steve?
Well, I think, going back to when we had this discussion about this, or about some of this, and the fact that we weren't getting back to people on some things, they're falling through the cracks, some of the permits, processes and everything else that we had. And it's partly because we don't actually have ownership of it. We have consultants and different, there's no real dashboard, nobody that's actually keeping track of it on a weekly basis. That's a big fail, from our end. This would solve that, correct?
Yeah, so when you have a permit, like say a new home is a permit's applied for a new home, you have the city that's involved with planning. So MSA, you'd have, Shane's company with engineering, you have the county for septic and driveway permitting, soil and water. You have and then building official. So you have all these companies, and within our software, if one person checks off that they're complete, you don't have anyone else, unless there's someone in there watching that permit to say, yep, they checked off that it's complete, let's move on to the next person. It doesn't always go to the next person.
So it holds about. The other thing on it is that, part of this other was actually code compliance, looking at the codes, looking at complaints, putting some things together. And I know that you're handling basically all of that right now. But then now that we have a better way of reporting it, I'm sure you're getting more calls, as well as we're having some of that. This helps with that. This position also covers that and some other miscellaneous things, correct?
Yeah, it would, that's part of that in the job description. Yeah. And right now it's not as busy, but it will pick up here as soon as the snow is gone. And
Well, I think I like the fact that we actually went to a lower level on the thing. it allows us to cover a lot of things. And it, to me, I don't see this as one of those things that actually gets subbed out, work to a consultant. I think this is better that we do that. You've got, we actually have somebody now that can fill in for other duties, even answering phones, et cetera, as we go along. So, and at a pretty reasonable cost to everybody. So I would vote for this.
And this position, when this would still just be like lower level permitting stuff, you like your hot water heaters, your decks, your all that, you know, all the bigger stuff would still stay with MSA, like the new homes and you know, the plan reviews and the zoning and the developments that will stay with MSA.
But at the same time, you've got somebody watching the permits and carrying and
Correct.
making and expediting them through.
Correct.
And the escrows.
And the escrow.
And the escrows. Okay,
Steve, would this position be funded by the permit revenue then?
Yes,
Okay, so it's not a levied that fund, it's by the fees.
correct.
Thank
It'd be the same as how Matt's was before.
Mhm.
And did you say MSA doing it today?
MSA is doing it today, yeah. So we take some of the money we're paying MSA now and kind of diverting it.
You know how much?
Probably 3 times the cost that that individual would be billed.
But our fees are covered. Covering.
If the 65 plus whatever benefits.
And you sure there's enough work for a full-time person? We had 413 applications, permit applications in 2025, which averages out to be 34 a month, which averages out to be about 2 a day. And then you said there was about 500 calls over the last 5 months. That's about 2 calls per business day. I just want to make sure that there's enough work for this person. You're saying that they would do other things besides permitting work?
Yeah, there's code compliance and. You know, we've got a lot of development stuff still that that Claire would still need help with and.
I don't understand how the city got by doing it. Up until December of 23, we didn't have this person. We didn't have a junior planner. We didn't have and we did it. I don't know what has changed, if things have gotten more complicated. I don't think we're building anything. We take a look at the last 3 years, it's actually the lowest level of permits in 2025 than the previous 2 years. I don't know how we used to do it without this permit tech.
the county did.
No,
No.
from 21.
Yeah,
Well,
before
since 20 to
20.
23, we were doing it.
Mhm.
We were doing it somehow without this position.
I was doing the code compliance. Kind of.
But the escrows were way behind because Lucas spent a lot of time and I haven't touched them since I've been here. And then a lot of complaints have come in about when they get their escrows back, and so I farmed that out to Steve, but I've been trying to, because Matt used to take care of that, so they got way behind too.
Mhm.
And when I came in, my dashboard had 150 things in there I was supposed to look at, and I had no idea what I was doing because when they enter a permit, it all of a sudden shows up, and I did not have time to go in and track through everything and then try to figure out who paid what and who was due what. And this person could do that and answer a lot of those questions.
That person could go out and things that Steve has been going out looking at. I mean, they're gonna go out and do that, so freeze his time up.
My concern is not today, but a year from now, when this is a entry level position. And then we're back at the table asking for it again. If that person leaves, so. I would question, is there a better way to handle these from, maybe just more from an administrative perspective instead of just a planner, maybe do we just need some administrative help going back to the community again and asking for someone that has a vested interest in the community that would stick around for a longer time versus just going out and getting a person that is looking for a job and then puts in a year and then leaves, and then we're back here again. I'm not debating that we need it. You know, hearing the concerns and the complaints from the residents and obviously staff. But I'm just questioning if that's we're tackling it the right way. Almost more like our accounting tech that was here prior. Are there people in the community that have these skills that if we just put a plea out to the community, that we could find someone that wanted 3/4 of the time or half time and start there and get someone that sticks around for a longer time. That's my biggest fear is, are we gonna be able to keep someone for longer than a year?
Yeah, and it's always a concern, job turnover, right? I mean, it is tricky to forecast. I think the important piece of that is take those considerations in when hiring, right? Where do we advertise? Do we start advertising more close to home and centrally to see if there's that opportunity, and then widen it out if we don't get, cast a little bit bigger net as time goes through. If we don't get any applications for anybody locally.
I just think you're gonna have a hard time finding it with the specific
Skill set.
If you make it more of an administrative, right? One of the things I heard was, our systems are hard and it's complicated, right? So now we train someone up for 3 months and then they leave in a year and then we're back. So we're having to train someone else. But can you have someone start with the lower levels, answering the calls, going to do the looking at the sites, doing things around here that takes things off of the plate, and then be able to work that person up and effectively do the same thing, but I think maybe just might stick a little bit better.
Well, I would argue that if we at least, first of all, this is about a position, not necessarily a person. But if we were to at least get that position filled and get caught up on a lot of these things, then I think even if it's kind of a 1-year thing, at least the next time around that we are addressing it, we would be in a caught up position with some systems in place and kind of figuring out how it all works. So I don't know that we would have to worry about that as much. But I think it's important that we get caught up because we are definitely behind on a lot of things. And it's a lack of manpower.
But we had Matt here and he left and now we're not caught up. So I don't know if we'll still be in the same position.
But when did he leave?
March or April.
Yeah, almost a year ago.
Mhm.
We've fallen behind again.
But if we hire someone and they leave, we're back in the spot again.
Maybe we won't wait so long to hire someone again.
I just don't think this is a good idea for this reason. We're just gonna lose a person and we're gonna have to retrain them again, and I think
temp agents, can we just use a temp agency?
Mm.
Don't know if that works very well.
Not for this type of
We'll
work.
send out a different person every week.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that, but I think, can we find just someone purely administrative, unless I'm barking up a wrong tree and there's not enough work that this administrative person could take off of other people's plates.
Wouldn't know that till we hire someone, see how they form.
There's a lot of permit technicians that go to take classes, the people who have served under me that started out in administrative took the permit technician classes to get their certification, and so there's a lot of, and they're usually at the clerical level, so they're in an administrative level, but they've taken the classes and that's what they enjoy doing, so they're more specialized and understand it more than the rest of us do.
Yeah, the one thing that you do gain with somebody with some experience or some interest in this type of work is that you gain that knowledge to be able to answer some questions, so that not every phone call is a, hang on, I'll get back to you. Where in order then just to reach out to Steve, reach out to Claire, reach out to Shane to go back and get that, answer these questions.
It also allows to have a little bit of experience and knowledge, really just the knowledge of the process to do compliance letters and things like that, and actually look at an ordinance and say, yeah, you're out of compliance, which is really part of it you want to have is. I mean, that's a big part too, and then another thing where you hear, well, I haven't heard anything, I made a complaint, I used your website, I did all of this and I haven't heard anything back. I can tell you, I got a neighbor that's still talking about buses on a neighbor's property that are still there, so it's. At least we have, if we get this position filled. And I think when we decided not to do it at the time, it really was, we were looking at kind of rewriting it. Well, we're here 10 months later. We should get this thing in here and get it started so that we can worry about other things.
For the sake of them working a while and moving on, we have that with all our staff,
Oh, absolutely, we do. And just think the more junior it is, the more likely someone's gotta come in and leave.
That's,
Well, I think the opportunity, if we put it out there and see what we get, maybe we find that person locally that's willing to do this. There's those opportunities. We won't find that person if we don't advertise it.
Right. Go ahead with, considering to put the position out there. Make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, I've got a motion by Schomer, a second by Sutterbach to approve the permit tech position in advertising. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nay.
So the motion passes 3-2. So then it's general business. We'll move on to staff and council member updates. So we'll start with staff. Let's start from Linda this time.
Nothing.
Sue, anything?
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to train in the new person and trying to do my stuff at the same time, so
Perfect.
you just have a little patience
Yeah.
with me.
Yep, sounds good. Legal,
Nothing here.
administrator?
I would like to sit on the hiring committee for that position that we just approved. That's it for me.
Okay, Leroy, anything?
I suppose we'll start having some pothole complaints here pretty quick, so. Menards does have the quick patch in stock. Potholes, so.
Truck and shovel.
Old Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
That's it.
I'd be happy to join Abe on that permit tech position as well for that, once we get some things there, but other than that, just FYI, so Credit River's turn is up for scale host presentation March. So just if you have any ideas to throw in the presentation, it's something to give out to the other communities during that. Please forward those to Steve and we'll put that presentation together.
I would like to ask that the full council gets to see the presentation before it's sent to scale for presentation purposes and give us enough time to look at it. And if we have any suggestions, we send them back to Steve.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay, Bill?
No, the last 2 weeks we did the interviews. Then we had scale on last Friday that talked about all the unfunded mandates, a lot of
mandates.
whining going on by a lot of people.
I'd like to make that motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Abe.
I'll second.
Thank you, Leroy. Motion by Zanto, second by Schomer. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight.